Everyone's heard the classic advice: pay off debt before you invest. But what if I told you that following that rule could secretly rob you of $800,000, maybe even $1 million? By the time you retire, most people think eliminating debt is the safest path. But according to Fidelity's 2024 research, the timing of this decision can swing your net worth by hundreds of thousands. If you're stuck wondering whether to crush your debt or seize market gains, I'm going to reveal the step-by-step math, the deal-breaking mistakes, and a dead simple checklist so you never have to second-guess your money moves or let fear cost you a decade of future freedom. Ready to see exactly which strategy could buy you a beachside retirement instead of ramen at 75? Let's break down what the numbers and the real-life risks say you should do with your next extra dollar. Imagine it. You open up your bank app and, shockingly, you spot real money left over after the bills are paid. That tiny surplus staring back at you, almost challenging you to make it count. But instead of celebrating, a new anxiety creeps in. Do you hurl that cash at your debts or let it roll into the stock market? Trusting in compound interest, this singular decision in pay down debt or invest can generate more future wealth than any sale, side hustle, or coupon hack ever could. In fact, it could easily be the difference between retiring with freedom or scraping by for decades longer. First, let's get brutally honest. Many people handle this question with gut feelings or random advice from YouTube comments. But according to a 2023 National Bureau of Economic Research report, most Americans dramatically underestimate the long-term payoff of investing versus paying off debt, or vice versa. I'm John, and on Money Masters, I'm obsessed with translating money math into real decisions so you don't just survive. You build a financial life worth bragging about. If you're just as tired as I am of money decisions, feeling like a shot in the dark, this is the place to clear the fog. If this is a financial decision you've stressed over, hit the like button now so I know I'm not alone. Today, we're not talking about how to pay for your impulse phone case collection. This is about the strategy that splits, built for wealth, from making banks rich. Here's the truth. There's no single answer, and that's why millions of people freeze up and lose years of progress by never deciding at all. But there are simple principles and some eye-opening math that can make your choice clear, not just generic. Step 1, understand the second you pay down debt, especially high-interest debt. You're earning a guaranteed return equal to its rate. Seriously. If you kill a credit card with 22% interest, you just locked in a risk-free 22% gain. No legal investment. Not even the hottest tech stock on its best day offers a consistent, riskless return like that. Go ahead, try to find a stock paying 22% a year after year. I'll wait. Now let's zoom out. The S&P 500, basically a stand-in for the market, has historically returned about 10% annually over the long run, according to Fidelity, 2024. But there's a catch. Historic average means some years you'll see 30% pops. But in market crashes like 2008, you could lose 37% overnight. Now here's the million-dollar riddle. If you have a debt with a 5% rate, and the stock market might pay you 10%, do you pay off the 5% or bet on that 10% on paper? 10% is greater than 5%, so invest in. But hold on. Real life is more than calculators. When you eliminate debt, the return is certain. There's no crash or bear market that can erase the interest you'll never pay again. That's safety you can't buy in any other way. Let's walk through a real-life mortgage scenario, with the specific figures that could change your retirement forever. Suppose you've got a $350,000 mortgage, locked at 4% for 30 years, your monthly payment, about $1,670. Let's say you scrape together an extra $1,000 every month. Option 1, go full, debt destroyer. Throw that $1,000 at your mortgage every single month. Result: you're debt-free in about 14.5 years versus 30. That flings open the door to a whole new life. Plus, you save $140,000 in interest alone. Here comes the curveball. Once you're mortgage-free, You're now unleashing $2,670. That's $1,000 extra plus the former $1,670 payment. Straight into the stock market for the next 15.5 years. If you hit the historic 10% average annual return, you'll end up with about $1.2 million invested. So with your interest savings, you're looking at about $1.1 million in total wealth after 30 years. But what if, instead, you started investing that spare $1,000 every month from day one, while just making minimum mortgage payments? How much more could you have? Let's run that calculation. If you invest $1,000 per month at 10% for a full 30 years, while only paying your regular mortgage, your investment swells to roughly $2.2 million. Using a simple compound interest formula, future value equals payment times, open parenthesis, 1 plus r, to the n, minus 1, close parenthesis, divided by r, where payment is $1,000. R is 0.10 divided by 12 monthly, n is 360 months. Yes, you'll pay about $250,000 in mortgage interest during those 30 years. Still, after subtracting that, you're sitting on $1.9 million. Let that sink in. All else equal, investing the extra from day one could leave you $800,000 richer than knocking out the mortgage early. That's not small change. That's a decade's worth of comfort, or the power to quit any job you hate forever. Comment below. Are you on team, pay off debt, or team, invest? What's your reasoning? I want to see the debate unfold. Let's pause from theory and talk about real risk. All those calculations assume market returns hit their long-term average. You stick to the plan for 30 years, even through crashes, and life plays along, which, as we all know, rarely happens perfectly. Notably, the mortgage example is an extreme. Mortgage rates, especially if locked near inflation, are usually considered good debt. They're long-term, fixed, and inflation works in your favor. Because every year, that $1,670 feels lighter and lighter. As your salary, hopefully grows and inflation chips away at the real value of your payment. It's like paying your bill with monopoly money while your home value and investments, on average, rise. That's why some experts, like those at Vanguard and CNBC's personal finance desk, often advocate holding low-rate, fixed mortgages and investing spare cash. As the years pass, your payment doesn't go up. But your income and the prices of almost everything else do. But we have to switch gears fast. Not all debt is safe. Let's talk credit cards. When you see 18%, 22%, or even 29% on your credit card statement, you're looking at what Warren Buffett calls financial cancer. No realistic investment strategy matches those fixed, sky-high rates safely. According to Experian's 2023 credit review, the average U.S. household with revolving credit pays over $1,380 per year in just interest, often on purchases long forgotten. In this case, there's zero debate. Attack high-interest debt like it stole your wallet. Even the best case for investing can't surpass the absolute risk-free return of paying off credit cards. That's the debt avalanche method. Pay the highest rate balances, regardless of amount, and your future self will thank you. Is it less emotionally satisfying than the debt snowball, where you kill small balances first for fast wins? Maybe, but the math doesn't lie. Tackling interest saves you the most. So what about student loans? They typically fall in the 3% to 7% range. Plus, some offer partial tax deductions, which can lower their effective cost to you. Let's say your loan's at 4%, and the deduction brings it down to 3%. That's a gray zone. Technically, if you can invest at an average of 10% returns over decades. Again, markets can be rough. Investing edges out. But if your rates are closer to 7%, or you're losing out on the tax break due to income, the math moves toward paying it off, especially if sleep or flexibility matter to you. Car loans. Another peculiar case. Today, most sit between 4% and 8%. but cars lose value fast. In fact, the average car drops nearly 20% the moment it leaves the lot, and about 60% in 5 years, according to Kelley Blue Book 2024. So putting extra cash into a depreciating asset often isn't the best financial play. Most of the time, if your loan is below 4% and the payments are manageable, investing extra money probably wins long term. Above 6%, aggressive payoff starts to look wise. Is your age and life stage the tiebreaker no one talks about? Absolutely. If you're in your 20s or early 30s, with decades until retirement and a stable job, higher risk can make sense. Stock market swings are just bumps if you're investing for 30-plus years. Your money has time to rebound. But if you're 50-plus, eyeballing retirement and a market plunge could derail your timeline. The security and peace of mind from having no debt can outweigh the theoretical extra returns from more years invested. Pattern break with a case study. Picture 2 viewers. Mark is 28, steadily employed, and carries a 4% student loan. He chooses to invest extra dollars and, over 30 years, grows his net worth far more than if he'd attacked the loan. Now Susan is 56, 5 years from retiring, and owed $45,000 at 5.5% interest. For her, slashing debt fast may guarantee a lower retirement budget, less anxiety, and flexibility, especially if market growth sputters in the short run. Drop your age group in the comments and let's compare notes on whether you favor debt freedom or investing. The debate helps more people than you'd think. It's not just about the math. There's a hidden factor: stress and sleep. Some folks can't stand owing anyone, even $1. They'll give up a potential gain just to avoid the anxiety. Others see low-cost debt as a tool, a means to bigger investments and faster growth. Both are valid. If you lose sleep over debt, the small financial trade-off for peace of mind is worth every penny. Here's a memorable 3-step framework if you're frozen by indecision. Step 1. Acknowledge your feelings, be honest about your stress triggers. Debt, loss, risk. Step 2. Analyze the math and timeline. What are the rates, the risks, and your personal goals? Step 3. Commit to a plan, even if it's a blend, for at least 12 months before you reconsider. Screenshot this framework. You'll want to reference it during your next money check-in. Another overlooked stage: emergency fund. Before tackling debt or making your first investment, stashing 3 to 6 months of living expenses into a plain old savings account is like building a financial bunker. I get it, earning 0.01% interest while inflation eats away at your savings feels pointless. But skipping this step is like patching your sailboat while ignoring a hole below the waterline. One car breakdown or job loss, and you'll wipe out progress by landing right back in debt or tapping investments at the worst moment. Let's hit tax and account impact. Many don't realize that paying off mortgage debt can remove deductions. Mortgage interest is often tax deductible. Check with a pro for specifics. So zapping that loan means saying goodbye to this tax break. Can that alone justify keeping long-term debt? For most, no. As I always say, don't spend $1 to save a quarter, meaning tax breaks aren't a reason to spend more in total interest. But with investments, you face taxes too, especially on gains in regular accounts. Long-term capital gains are often lower than regular income taxes, but they still eat into returns. That brings up 401ks and IRAs. If your company offers a 401k match, contribute at least enough to get the full match before focusing on debt payoff. According to Fidelity 2024 Summit, skipping the match is like refusing free money. Here's a summary decision tree. Screenshot the next 30 seconds or check the link below for a printable checklist. Step 1. Do you have high-interest debt? Above 7%? If yes, pay it off first, before anything else. Step 2. As soon as you're match eligible, contribute enough to your 401k or IRA to snag the full employer match. This is the highest. Return on investment move available to most people. Step 3. Is your debt low interest, under 5%, and your emergency fund secure? Blend paying extra and investing, or invest entirely if that helps you sleep. Step 4. Consider age, under 40. Favor long-term investing if comfortable, over 50. Prioritize stable cash flow and prep for flexibility by trimming debt. You can download the full decision tree checklist in the description, so you never freeze up again at this decision point. Screenshot this summary checklist now, or grab the PDF below, so your next financial choice is on autopilot. During periods of high inflation, holding fixed-rate debt can be a secret weapon. As prices rise, your debt payments stay fixed while your other investments, especially stocks and real estate, tend to keep up with or outpace inflation, according to CNBC 2023. That flips the usual rules on their head. But in rare cases of deflation, paying off debt as soon as possible is the smartest move as debt gets heavier in real terms. Quick real-world scenario. In 2022 to 2023, as inflation soared, anyone holding a sub-3% mortgage effectively watched their real monthly payment shrink, all while investments continued to climb. That's how real millionaires play both sides. Borrowing cheap, investing for growth. But no one can predict economic swings perfectly. That's why strategy beats guesswork. What about when life throws you that curveball? The major job loss, illness, or family emergency? This is when flexibility wins. A paid-off loan or a robust investment account, both buy options. Now let's recap the one-liner. Every dollar you direct toward debt or investing could be the ticket to an extra 10 years of freedom or more, if you make your decision with purpose, not paralysis. The perfect solution isn't about picking one side every time. It's about knowing your unique interest rates, your goals, and your life's timeline, so you make every extra dollar serve you, not the banks. Quick reminder as we head into the action steps. This entire video is educational only, not personalized financial advice. Every example is meant to guide your thinking, but for your exact situation, consult a licensed financial advisor. Past investment returns and market behaviors don't guarantee future outcomes. Always build your plans with a healthy respect for risk and the unexpected. If you want the exact framework and checklist to plug in your own numbers and eliminate decision anxiety, download my free PDF below. Got a question about your situation? Drop it in the comments. I tackle the most upvoted ones every week. Ready to turn your extra savings into real financial freedom. Let's dive into your next steps now. Let's wrap with a simple recap. The choice between crushing your debts and chasing investment returns isn't a coin flip. It's a weighted decision where every % of interest rate, every extra dollar, and even your stress level adds up, sometimes to the tune of $800,000 or more. Use the debt interest threshold. Above 7%, pay it down first, no question. Below 5%. Consider investing, especially with an emergency fund and employer match. Most of all, don't fall for one-size-fits-all solutions. Instead, use the frameworks and the math from today to make your best call, whether you're 25 with time on your side or 55 eyeing your retirement date. Immediate action. Today, calculate your highest debt interest rate and compare it to your average possible investment return. Use tools like the NerdWallet Debt Payoff Calculator or the free compound interest calculators, linked below. This week, download and fill out the decision checklist from the description. Over the next 60 days, focus on building or shoring up your emergency fund, so every other financial move has a real safety net. Track your debt payoff or investment progress monthly. Automate a split strategy if you want both sleep and growth. Over a year. Revisit your decision tree as your goals, income, or the market shifts. Remember, small changes pay off big over long timelines. I've watched Money Masters community members boost their net worth by 6 figures with just a shift in focus and systems. How soon will you see results? If you attack high-interest debt today, You'll feel relief on your next monthly statement and free up money every step of the way. Investors, that first $1,000 may not look impressive now, but at 10% average annual return, it can snowball to over $200,000 in 2 decades. After 6 months of following a personalized plan, you'll see real traction. Now, before you go, here's what to do. If you want the full printable checklist, download it with the link in the description. Your future self will thank you. If you learned something new, comment below with your age group and which strategy you're going to run with, and why. These debates help everyone, and I respond to the top questions every week. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dive financial walkthroughs every week. Next up, I'll be revealing my actual index fund picks, with their long-term returns and how they survived real-world downturns. So stick around. Not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. Your money decisions should always factor in your unique needs, and I strongly recommend talking to a licensed financial planner before making any life-changing moves. Past market returns are not a guarantee, and risks are everywhere. So build your financial ship for all weather. Thanks for watching Money Masters. I'm John, and I'll see you next time.